La fuga de los reos secuestradores, hubo una fuga masiva de reos, todos sabemos. Debido a en esa fuga masiva se fugan 2 reos de los secuestradores de mi hija. Uno fue recapturado, pero uno aún sigue libre. A raíz de eso, yo también pedí seguridad en lo que este reo fuera recapturado, que hasta fecha no ha sucedido.
In the treacherous terrain of San Fernando, Tamaulipas, Miriam Rodriguez was dealt the most devastating blow a mother could face: the loss of her daughter to the brutality of cartel violence. Refusing to stand by as another silent victim, she embarked on a formidable quest for justice. Today's story is raw and unfiltered, showcasing a grief-stricken mother turning into a symbol of revenge and fearlessness. We'll follow Miriam on her near-impossible mission to hunt down the 10 cartel members behind her daughter's tragic death. But what drove her to take matters into her own hands? And what sacrifices did her pursuit demand? Stick around as we dive into the life, the loss, and the undying legacy of Miriam Rodriguez, a tale of justice, resilience, and the unstoppable power of a mother's love. In December 2012, Karen Rodriguez didn't come home. That day, Miriam Rodriguez's world stopped. San Fernando, Tamaulipas, a place already scarred by cartel violence, had claimed her daughter. Frantic, Miriam and her family reached out to the police, clinging to hope. But the days ticked by, turning into weeks, with the authorities making no headway. Reports were filed and pleas were made, but Karen remained missing. By early 2013, it was clear that waiting on the sidelines was not an option for Miriam. Frustrated by the stagnant police work, she made a steadfast decision to act. With no leads from the police and no sign of her daughter, Miriam began her own investigation. She stepped into a dark world, seeking answers for her daughter's fate, unwilling to let Karen become just another statistic in a region tormented by kidnappings. The quest was daunting, but Miriam's resolve was unshakable. She was a mother on a mission, driven by a simple, powerful force: the love for her daughter. Miriam Rodriguez embarked on her quest with a steely resolve, turning from a grief-stricken mother into a detective. Without formal training but driven by a fierce need for answers, she started gathering pieces of the puzzle. She scoured the streets for whispers and rumors, turning every stone in the rough landscape of Tamaulipas. Her determination bore fruit when in 2014, she tracked down one of the kidnappers, a man known as Sama. This breakthrough was pivotal. With Sama's arrest, Miriam not only solidified her role as a force to be reckoned with, but also brought hope to the community terrorized by cartels. Each piece of information extracted was a step closer to tracking down the network that took away her daughter. During this crucial time, Miriam's path intersected with Christian, a boy with ties to the crime. Witnessing his turmoil, she offered him a semblance of comfort amidst the chaos. Despite her own heartache, she extended empathy to Christian, understanding that the cycle of violence had left many such young lives in its wake. Miriam's support for him was not just about gathering information. It was also about breaking a chain of fear and despair. Her fight was personal, but in her journey, she inadvertently became a beacon for others suffering in silence. Miriam's search for the truth led her to an abandoned ranch, a place whispered about in local circles but absent from any official records. Here, she stepped into a scene that seemed frozen in time, where hints of untold stories lingered in the air. Amid the overgrown grass and deserted structures, Miriam's hands brushed against remnants that connected directly to Karen. Among these were personal items that no mother could mistake for another's, a cold comfort in the face of her grim quest. These items were silent witnesses to the tragedy that had unfolded. Forensic experts combed through the scene, with Miriam overseeing their every move, her heart hanging on the balance of their findings. The first pass at analyzing the remains gave nothing definitive. The DNA evidence was frustratingly inconclusive. But Miriam, steadfast and unwavering, insisted on a second, more thorough check. Her perseverance paid off. The results came back, confirming the unbearable truth through scientific certainty. The remains belonged to Karen. This discovery marked a turning point for Miriam. While it was the end of one kind of hope, it sharpened another, the hope for justice. Each clue unearthed from the desolate ranch became a stepping stone in her unwavering journey towards seeking justice, not just for Karen, but for all the voices that had been silenced. digging deeper, Miriam Rodriguez's suspicion zeroed in on Elvia Eurisa Betancourt, a name that cropped up too often to ignore. Miriam trusted her instincts. They had become her ally in this quest. The subtle hints and quiet mentions she collected suggested a connection between Elvia and the kidnappers. There were no public outcries against Elvia, just whispers and rumors that Miriam tracked like a detective. She meticulously connected the dots, a pattern emerging from these quiet clues, linking Elvia to those who had taken her daughter. It was Miriam's sharp eye for detail that finally led to action. She passed her findings to the police, and this time they listened. They arrested Elvia in a precise move, a testament to the quality of Miriam's detective work. This happened many years after the initial kidnapping, showing the long stretch of Miriam's determination. Elvia's capture meant progress. It was one more piece in the puzzle of Karen's disappearance, a puzzle that Miriam was putting together with dogged persistence. Each piece, each arrest, was a step forward but also a heavy reminder of what had been lost. Miriam faced this reality with unwavering resolve, driven by a mother's love to seek justice for her daughter. With Elvia's arrest, Miriam Rodriguez's determination only grew stronger. Her mission to track down every last person linked to her daughter's kidnapping saw her adopting various disguises. She became a chameleon, blending into different environments, whether as a health worker, an election official, or even by altering her appearance. Her disguises were as varied as the places her targets frequented. One of her pivotal moments came with the hunt for Enrique Joel Rubio Flores, known for his involvement with the gang. Miriam, with her acute attention to detail, noticed patterns and with patient surveillance zeroed in on his location. Her efforts bore fruit when she pinpointed Rubio Flores, a moment that led to another victory in her relentless pursuit. Then came the day of the chapel arrest, an operation that saw Miriam face to face with the gang member. Her courage didn't falter. She confronted the man she believed was part of the network that took her daughter. This wasn't just a bold move, it was a mother reclaiming power in a situation that had her powerless. Her bravery not only led to the capture but also resonated as a message of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The trail of justice Miriam Rodriguez followed next led her to a florist with a sinister second life. In a dramatic twist, she cornered the criminal, whose day job belied his dark dealings. This capture was a proof of her unyielding resolve, yet each victory came at a cost. Over 3 grueling years, Miriam's quest took a toll not just on her body, with threats to her safety, but also on her heart, as she carried the weight of grief and the strain of her solitary battle against the cartel members. Yet even as her personal battle wore her down, Miriam's actions sparked wider change. Her unwavering commitment and the results she achieved single-handedly lit a beacon for others suffering at the hands of the cartel. She became more than just a seeker of her own justice. She stood as a symbol of hope and resilience. Her contribution extended far beyond her family's tragedy, marking her as a key player in the broader fight against cartel violence. But such a dangerous mission came with its own consequences. Miriam Rodriguez, in her quest for justice, faced dangers that would have terrified the bravest of souls. Threats against her life became a shadow she could never quite escape. This danger became all too real when the very criminal she'd helped imprison escaped, shattering the fragile veil of security she had around her. These escapes were not just a blow to her efforts, but a direct threat to her life, escalating the stakes of her mission exponentially. Undeterred, Miriam pressed on, and her persistence soon led her to a nanny with a sinister secret. This woman, once trusted to care for children, was implicated in Karen's abduction. The capture of this nanny was a major moment for Miriam, as it depicted both her vulnerability and her extraordinary courage. Each capture was a costly triumph, a mixture of relief and a sobering reminder of the price she was paying for justice. Miriam Rodriguez's fight against the cartel reached a somber conclusion on Mother's Day, 2017. On that fateful day, the bravery that had propelled her into the public eye ultimately led to her assassination. In broad daylight, gunmen ensured Miriam's silence, but in doing so, they amplified her story across the world. The authorities, who once took a back seat, now found themselves in the glare of public scrutiny, scrambling to react to the outrage that followed. The community, which had been inspired by her courage, mourned deeply, feeling the loss of their beacon of justice. Miriam Rodriguez's death didn't end her fight. The group she started still stands, now led by her son, Luis. In a place where violence is on the rise, Luis keeps the group going, strong as his mother was. People in her community see Miriam as a hero. Her brave actions are not forgotten, they inspire others. She showed that even one person can change the fight against crime, driven by a mother's love. Miriam Rodriguez rewrote the narrative of a victim to a victor, proving the extraordinary lengths a mother's love can reach. Her tale goes beyond personal tragedy, becoming a beacon of courage amidst the ongoing fear. Miriam's life and her unwavering spirit make us wonder, how far would we go for justice? And in the face of darkness, could we, like Miriam, become our own light?